when you're trying to be a high growth company or win a category or something like that, the number one thing you need to do is get more customers for less money. I want more people to talk about this metric because it used to be the most important metric.
From Refine Labs.
We are at Demand Gen Live. Great to have you here on Tuesday. Marketing is pure offense.
So you have, in your career, 8 to 10 attempts to do something legendary.
We have all up here this thing called Dark Social. It's episode 83.
This is the best, most interesting content on marketing I've heard in more than a decade.
Over the past 12 months, I talked to CROs, CMOs, CEOs, Chief Growth Officers, VP of Growth, VP of Marketing, Director of Demand Gen, people all over the revenue function of hundreds of software companies over the past 12 months, and literally nobody talks about CAC. It's wild. Even when I bring it up, people are like, whatever. They don't say whatever, but that's pretty much the feeling. It's so interesting. And so I'm helping people understand why it matters. When I mention we need to lower CAC, what people are thinking is we need more pipeline. What I'm trying to help people understand is if your CAC is lower, then you create more revenue at the same budget. You create more pipeline at the same budget. You get way better marketing ROI with the same budget. You create a system that can scale way more effectively so that as you add more money, you get more customers with lower budget. So when you're looking to get more pipeline, one of the easiest ways to get more pipeline is just to drive better marketing ROI of your existing spend. And so we literally, this is just pure black and white stuff. We literally go into companies that spend $200,000 a month on ads and do nothing else but change how the $200,000 gets spent every month and drive 2 to 3x more pipeline. And if you drove 2 to 3x more pipeline, the main outcome is that your CAC goes down by somewhere between 35 and 65%. And that's the end result, so that you spend the same amount of money, but you get 2 to 3 times more customers. By optimizing for lower CAC, not necessarily just more pipeline, it just creates interesting downstream effects. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper because there's a couple instances here. You can actually have too low of CAC. If you go and actually calculate what the marketing CAC payback period is, the company has like a 1 month or 0.8 months or 1.4 month CAC payback on marketing spend for a high growth SaaS company. It means they're not spending enough on marketing. They have a mature category that has a lot of organic market demand. If they spent nothing on marketing, they would get a certain amount of customers, which then dilutes the overall CAC, and they're not spending enough to drive growth. And those are the companies that when you look under the hood, they're growing at 15%, not 50 or 100 or 200%, because they just underspend on marketing. Some underspend on marketing because they don't have confidence that their team knows how to spend it more effectively, or they've tried and they haven't been able to. And some companies don't do it because they just don't believe in marketing enough yet. The easiest way to understand the performance of your marketing is to look at it in several different ways, but to triangulate against customer acquisition cost. And one that I've liked a lot recently, which I think is really interesting, is pipeline dollars per program spend dollar. It's a great metric. And I remember I've been looking at this metric since 2017 because I remember it really clearly. Pipeline was defined slightly different back then. I've evolved on it, but it was pretty much the same. It had to be aligned to sales outcomes. My old definition was greater than 20%. I've evolved it to 25%. When we were running Facebook ads, I literally knew every dollar we put on Facebook ads that we would get $10 in pipeline, and we were going to win 33% of that pipeline on average or something like that. And it was just very simple to go back to the CFO and say, hey, like, we were spending 10K and then we got this amount of pipeline, and then we increased it to 20 and we got twice as much pipeline, and now I want to increase it to 50, and then we did it and we got that much pipeline. There's going to be a place where this caps out, but we're getting $10 in pipeline for every dollar we spend on ads, and that's not happening with the SDR team. That's not happening with our outbound strategy. That's not happening with our trade show strategy. That's not happening when we sponsor this trade publication magazine. There's nothing else in marketing that's driving this dramatic of ROI. When you're trying to be a high growth company or win a category or something like that, the number one thing you need to do is get more customers for less money. Then you need to deliver a great product, great experience, customer success, expansion, right? There's a whole other part of the business that truly matters, but there's a big part that you need to acquire customers for cheaper. And right now, companies' CAC is very high, which means that they're just spending more and more on sales and marketing, and they're not getting as many customers. And I just see a trend where it's not good. Spending a lot of money, not getting a lot of customers, doing a lot of things that are outdated or ineffective. So I want more people to talk about this metric because it used to be the most important metric.